that last ball, last over from Shane Warne, very close. Just watch this. He's getting a little bit of drift, Shane Warne, and that's what's causing the problem. And that was pretty close to leg stump. Just drifting in a little bit, hitting the rough, the full rough, and then ripping back towards the leg stump. Close call.
It's that area that's a sort of blind spot for the batsman, and in some ways is Warne's signature. The drift that takes the eyes into a very difficult position. You end up playing around your front pad at best. It's very hard to sort of get your left leg out of the way and deal with that ball. There's that drift, and then of course so much spin. Almost a carbon copy of what happened a little earlier today.
To have some really good numbers. He's right behind Lilly in terms of the record for wickets in a year. Lead is 80, and today he's got Hines, he's got Powell and Lara innings, but this is just wonderful bowling. It's interesting that
the game's probably gone from them because they don't have any spinners to take advantage of this worn pitch. And so they're just clinging on for dear life. Problem is, the longer you build the pressure, the more the bowler's confidence improves, the better he bowls, the more you get stuck in your shell, and suddenly playing a stroke becomes very difficult. So Ponting is really dominating this little passage of play.
And rest assured, the Aussies mean business here. Anyone who doesn't believe that obviously didn't see what happened last evening when they were desperately keen to roll him over. That last over was as tense as it could possibly be. A little bit of chirping went on. There was a bit of retaliation.
It's dead right. I mean, the intensity in that last over was remarkable. You wouldn't think the series was already won and Australia had retained the Frank Worrell Trophy. You'd think everything was at stake. And it just shows you how Ponting is now determined to get everything out of every moment. I think he feels that there were times in England when Australia drifted and didn't make the most of opportunities. I think they were surprised by England. Since he's been back, boy, he has gone at everything. It started in those one days in the Telstra Dome against the ICC World 11. And since then, Ponting is, well, he's barely missed a beat.
Yeah, it may have gone actually just a little bit before that, because it started in the nets, really. That's where he's changed things. He decided that they were going to employ a slightly different attitude in the nets. Everyone full out throughout the duration of net practice. He was of the view that the bowlers in particular were, just running in and going through their little routines, and they were getting guys to come along as reserve bowlers to give the batsmen a bit of practice. Ponting wanted his frontline bowlers in there bowling to the batsmen, and apparently that's what they've done. 5 for 106. Redley over the wicket. Still no McGill. McGill has bowled 1 over in this innings so far. Warne 16. But he's probably got the word now. I think he's probably been told that he should get himself loose. Yeah, he'll probably get himself loose for 1 over before lunch. I really do think that he should have bowled at least 4 or 5 overs. Inside off stump around the wicket here. You've got to be very careful. Warne's length is around about 9 foot from the popping crease. Over the years, that's where he tends to pitch it. And it's right there. And there's a little bit of rough there.
Oh,
that's further up. That was about 7 foot. Trying to get him on the drive there.
You never quite know how the ball will respond out of that stuff. There's old Two Hats Hayden, and he put off this blinder when Lara went on the drive. He'd driven Warne through the covers for 4. The hat comes off. That's hat 2 that falls off when he takes an exceptional catch. But oh, what about that? Yes, got him. Shane Warne. Brad Hodges, the catcher, in there. Shivnarine Chanderpaul's miserable tour comes to a close. Brilliant spin and bounce from Warne.
Yes, one got the feeling it was only a question of time before something like this was going to happen. See if we can pick up the edge. He was certainly given out very quickly. He goes rocking back, a little edge there onto the thigh pad actually, and comfortably taken about 6 inches above the ground. And no doubt about that, Warne knew he was gone. West Indies 6 down now for 106. Dwayne Smith has now arrived at the crease. Things have really slowed up in terms of runs. And of course, we're about to see McGill introduced into the attack. He's only bowled 1 over. He hasn't even started yet. And judging by the way he's bowled, we'll get a few. Well, there it is. Very difficult. Big inside edge. Nicely taken at forward short leg. And well bowled by Shane Warne.
Yeah, it's a great example of how extra bounce is the most difficult thing for a batsman. Really is hard out of that rough stuff to be sure, A, how much the ball will spin or how much it'll bounce. And in the end, Warne got his way, as he often does against Chanderpaul, it has to be said. Now, this mightn't be boring because Dwayne Smith plays his strokes. Or likes to, anyway.
A little quicker. Boy, he's going to have his work cut out here. Warne will throw everything at him. So Warne's figures at the moment, 4 for 43, 16 overs. Only ever got 5 wickets once at the Adelaide Oval. Almost seems impossible, doesn't it? Did it flick? Oh, he's given him. Yes, it must have flicked his pad first. That's what they were asking for. There's absolutely no doubt about that. You don't often see these given. Over the years, I've got to say, I've seen plenty of appeals for the little flick of the front pad and then onto the bat. This one was given out. Let's have another look at it.
Well, Warne pushing it through quick and straight. No real spin on that ball. Oh dear. Inside edge onto pad. So Warne has got one to go his way. Dwayne Smith will be disbelieving of that duck across the screen. The West Indies might be disbelieving of 7 for 106.
That's well fielded. Well, McGill still not into the attack, I suppose, as a result of the wicket, and because there's only 1 over now before lunch. Just have a look at it again. Did it flick the pad first? It was the slider, and no, can't give that. Interesting from that angle, actually, that last replay. It just looked as if it may just have hit the pad first, but I'd defy anyone to be able to pick that live. Just watch this again. Just, you could argue that it might have just flicked the pad before it hit the bat on that angle. And there's the 5, second time here at the Adelaide Oval. Quick single.
impossible to judge even when we get Snicko involved. It's almost like there's a squeezing of the ball by both bat and pad at exactly the same moment. And really, to give that out is to guess. That's the truth of it. So you've got to have sympathy with the batsman. Good bit of bowling. The slider pushed through a little flatter, and definitely hitting him between wicket and wicket, and probably going on to hit the stumps.
Yes, for those of you who don't know the law basically is that if it hit the pad first and then the bat, and assuming he was going to go on to hit the stumps, then he's out. The big question is, did it hit the pad and the bat at the same time? If it did, then it can't be out. So therein lies the drama.
Leg spinners, and
well, he hasn't really been playing those sweep shots all that well, and looking to hit on the full at times. This time, well, it's a glove, I would think. Hit the ball down onto the ground, and then it bounced back up, brushing the gloves on the way through. Because when it got hit, it certainly...
Oh, now an edge between keeper and first slip. That'll run away for, well, at least two. The major set for two. Well, three of the first four deliveries that McGill have bowled have graded half chances. And now we've got a bit of sloppy cricket as well. An overthrow. Turns into a three.
Bravo thought he was gone. Warne was standing very wide because McGill was ripping it sideways before tee. This doesn't spin as far. The open blade gets